Hi everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp. First and most importantly, if you are a mother, happy Mother's Day, you're awesome. Maybe you should treat yourself to a new game for that backlog. And the usual plug for the website, you can save 10% using code SwitchUp. I know loads of you have done that. If you have any issues, there's always the little help button down the bottom. Remember, we do give away a free game each and every month. In fact, we give one away every week as well. We just look for the comments that are most liked by others, so make sure you leave your own comments and like someone else's if you do like it. And here's the winning comment from last week's video. GG, ping us a message and we will send you a game. And with all of that nonsense out the way, what is on sale? Well, let's find out. One of the best games and highest rated on our channel is Phoenotopia Awakening. This is an absolutely incredible game. It has the difficulty of old school Zelda 2, a brilliant main character, an incredibly engaging side cast of characters as well, loads of secrets, 10 different weapons to find, there are like 50 enemies, and there's also an achievement system here. Now this has one of the best soundtracks out of any game I've reviewed in quite some time, and it's also it's a tough game. It's not, despite appearances, there are some tough boss fights in here, and for what, £10.79 at the moment, 40% off until April the 7th. This is absolutely an essential pickup. A huge game, absolutely huge. And for any Zelda fans, anyone that likes things like Blossom Tales, but also if you're a fan of Metroidvanias, I think you'll enjoy this. Absolutely essential, matching its lowest ever price, and that's until, as I say, April the 7th. Possibly the best real-time strategy game on Switch, and also matching its lowest price again, we've got Ancestors Legacy, down 70% to £9.59. It's the closest you're going to find to a Total War game on Switch. While the battles are slightly smaller in scale, performance is actually fine. There are 4 different playable nations. You can switch the camera to be a cinematic one so you can really see what's going on up close and personal, and you can see the different units you have available at the top of the screen with quick button prompts for the controller, making it actually very usable and easy to control. Now you're looking at about 30 to 40 hours of gameplay here, and to be honest, I'm starved of RTS games. Like I absolutely love them, and probably due mainly to hardware limitations, we don't have a great deal on Switch. That sale goes on until April the 2nd. There is a physical available, and you can find that reduced at the moment on Amazon here in the UK at 52% off. Currently, you'll find most of the Darksiders games are on sale, and of the 3 that we've got on Switch, I think I enjoyed the port of the first one the most. Like, the performance is great, and it's got the performance and quality modes. But as far as gameplay, I think I actually prefer Darksiders 2. It has the more open world style. It does have a few performance issues in here, but there's also the full DLC, and they have done some work on the render engine, I believe, since launch, although the larger areas still are problematic. The dungeons are actually okay. Now this one's only on sale for about 3 more days. I think it's until March the 30th, and it's 60% off, and it's another one where here in the UK at least you'll find a discount on the physical version, down 58% on Amazon. You can pick it up for just £10.99. That is what we like to call a bargain. It's a bargain. You could potentially pick up all 3 of the games if you want the trilogy for like 37 quid, which isn't bad at all. Vigil needs a mention from me because I'm currently experiencing a bit of a guilt trip that I didn't include it in my Souls-like list, because it should have been in there, and it's a really, really good game. It's 40% off at the moment, taking it down to £11.99, and it's very much a Salt and Sanctuary, Castlevania hybrid mashup, so it's got some of those Metroidvania elements in there as well, but it does certainly have Souls-like combat. The artwork is based on Chinese paper cutting, and it works well enough, sometimes veering a little bit on the inverse kinematics cheap side of flash animation, but generally I think it looks lovely, and it has a great soundtrack as well. Some hideous boss fights in here, some really good gameplay, and loads of secrets, which is always nice. You're looking at about 15 to 30 hours, and that sale goes on until April the 10th. Take your pick of the Assassin's Creed game. You've got Assassin's Creed 3, you've got the Rebel Collection. Both of those about 60% off at the moment until March the 31st. But the physical pick for this week would be the Ezio Collection, which is 27% off over on Amazon. You can also get a 20% discount on the eShop until March the 31st on this one. I was really looking forward to the Ezio Collection coming across. Look, it shows its age in certain areas, and I know some people have some issues with some of the faces of the NPCs, but honestly, that's not why I play Assassin's Creed. I'm not sat there going, that NPC's got a strange face. I'm jumping across rooftops and trying to place my knife in some extremity of a very unfortunate person. If this one tickles your fancy, there's a full review on the channel. And you also need to know that the full experience isn't on the cartridge. So if you do go physically, it's a bit annoying, which is why I wouldn't pay full price for a physical. But, you know, some people just buy everything physically, and fair enough. That being said, still 20% off till March the 31st. Here's a nice little game that I don't think I've mentioned before that's potentially worth a pickup, and it's Steel Assault. Now, we had a review code for it, but unfortunately we couldn't cover it. But I always say to the people, we'll play the games, and one day, you never know, we might mention it in a sales video, and that usually happens, if it's actually okay. And Steel Assault is decent. It's very old school in its feel, but I think developer Zenobia did a good enough job with this 16-bit post-apocalyptic style. It has that side-scroll run-and-gun feel, and it is exactly probably what you expect from it. It's inspired by the classics, such as Metal Slug, and it's only about 3 to 5 hours long if you want to do absolutely everything. I mean, you could blast through it even quicker than that, but for fans of the classics, you know what you're getting. You can see what you've got here, and it's a very small download of 339 megs, and it will set you back £7.19. It's 40% off until April the 2nd, and in my opinion, well worth that. The Heaven Dust games are really nice, inspired by classic Resident Evil. The recent sequel to the first one, Heaven Dust 2, came out and we reviewed it on the channel, and it's currently got its lowest ever price of £11.99. And you can pick up the original for just £2.94, which is crazy cheap. It's a classic survival horror game. This time around being slightly longer, with better production values, better visuals. Of course, zombies are in here, just has to happen. And there are 3 difficulty modes, casual, normal and expert. Only 770 megabytes, some good puzzles, some good combat, and generally very well received. This one's staying on sale for quite a while. It's on sale until April the 20th. So maybe pick up the first one for a couple of quid, see how you get on. If you enjoy it, grab the sequel. Next up then, we've got the recently patched, actually, CrisTales. Now, it ran well enough at the start, but it's had another patch, which I'm going through at the moment, and things seem to have been improved and they've tweaked certain mechanics. Now, it's 60% off at the moment, taking it down to £13.99, and it has a lovely mechanic whereby you can essentially see the past, present and future of a settlement that you're in. You might have a side quest that will literally change the future that you'll be able to look into. And for me, that's such a nice idea from Dreams Uncorporated. It really gives some meaning to the side quests that can so often be meaningless. It's another one where you can find the physical, quite cheaply, but this is its cheapest ever price by a country mile, 60% off, down to £13.99, and with a really nice side cast of characters. The only thing to be aware of is with this, I guess you can call it a JRPG, there are random battles, which can be a bit of a pain in the backside. The kids pick this week, and one that my daughter has been teaching to her uncle, who's come back from Spain. He lives over there, and finally, because of COVID, he's been able to actually visit us now that things have chilled a little bit in that regard as far as travel goes. But she's been teaching him how to play Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is a really fun beat 'em up, and it's quite hilarious sat there watching her outperform this essentially 40-year-old bloke, and is constantly reviving him. Now, this one includes the DLC, the Knives Chow and Wallace Wells add-on, and it's just classic, you know. It's what back in the day we'd have been there in the arcades pumping 20p's into the machine, but here she is, just a slightly different world but the same mentality. You can pick up items and throw them, you can get health pickups, you can revive each other when one goes down. There's a shop in the game that you can then spend the currency in, and it's just really nice. Just a simple game, nice beat 'em up, and really an essential one if you're a beat 'em up fan on Switch. Last but not least, before we look at a couple you should avoid, then you've got the Saints Row titles. They're on sale. I think you can buy the 3rd or the 4th on sale at the moment. But I'm going to say Saints Row 3, in my opinion, is aged better than the 4th one. I initially preferred the 4th, honestly, when I first played it. It kind of gave me that, what would you call it, like a superhero feeling. But upon reflection and time, I think 3 is kind of, it's got that GTA feel that potentially is a bit more long lasting for me. And there's so much content here. They're both really good games. They went back and patched them as well. The 3rd one's received a massive patch, so you can adjust the level of detail and basically change the dynamic scaling, which is a nice touch. I'm not sure if they locked it to 30. It was dynamic, but there you go. That's just me nerding it up for a bit. Really fun games, and you get to play as the president of the USA. They're absolutely not for kids. Like, don't let your kids anywhere near these. You might say, oh, it's fine, it won't harm them. But when you get that big floppy weapon on screen and your kid's like, what's that? Well, I mean, you might as well call social yourself. Avoid that one if there are kids anywhere near it. There is online play as well, so you can team up with a friend, 1 or 2 of you, and you can play locally with 2 Switches. It's 70% off at the moment, taking it down to £10.49. That's the lowest it's ever been, and that sale ends on April the 3rd. That just leaves a void. It's had a mention before, but it needs one again because it's dangerously cheap. This is the Zodiac speaking. Now, obviously, the Zodiac murders were really interesting in a sick kind of a way, but the game is appalling in a terrible kind of a way, incredibly clunky. You'd think with the subject matter they'd be able to create something very enticing, but it's just not fun. That's as clearly and articulately as I can tell you why this game isn't worth buying. It's just not fun. But isn't that so often the way? Like, isn't that so often overlooked by games developers? They have these brilliant ideas, but they don't seem to get to the stage where they're like, well, hang on, whoa, is this actually enjoyable? More often than not, the answer, unfortunately, is no, and that's the case here. A shame, because Glen reviewed this and he absolutely loves the subject matter that it's based on, which takes us to the end of the video. Leave your comment, let me know what you're picking up, what you're playing, and do make sure that you, if you can, like or press the like button, wherever that is, on someone else's comment so that the cream rises to the top and that person is rewarded with a free game. The free game winner from last week will have appeared at the start of this episode. Save yourself 10% on any of these games using code SwitchUp over at switchup.gg. Thanks so much to all of you that watch the channel. Happy Mother's Day once again. And all that's left to say is thanks to our patrons. You guys are amazing. And to our Discord, you're also awesome. And for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch Up. Cheers, guys. See ya!